That to say you're going to lead something creates a lot of hostility, division, jealousy, and envy.
What's up? I'm back. The Eskwilax Hour with Efrain and
SERA.
SERA.
Yeah.
I remember the name. Well, half remembered. I have this thing where I'm like, it's been 3 years, and my memory has not gotten better. They told me to try shrooms.
Oh.
I don't know about that, but anyways, they say that it helps your memory somehow.
Right.
But,
depends on the shroom. You don't know?
Who knows? But yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
SERA,
SERA.
for being here with us
Sure.
at Zapotec Cafe.
Yeah. It's pretty
What do you
cool
think?
space. Pretty cool space.
All this art is actually by different artists, and you were mentioning Oski right now.
Yeah.
He did this half, and then his friend did the middle, and then another friend did the top part of it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then this one's another friend. All of these are artists that have been on the show
Yeah.
at some point, or we know them.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And
Yeah.
hopefully we can get one of yours in here.
Yeah.
Add it to our wall somewhere, because we're
Yeah.
running out of space. Hopefully we get it soon.
Yeah, no, that'd be cool. Yeah. I mean, wherever you have a spot, let me know.
All right, Sarah.
Yeah.
Where are you visiting us from?
So, I'm currently a resident of Inglewood, California.
Inglewood.
Yeah.
By the airport.
By the airport, by the Big Donut.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Big
Randy's.
Donut. Yeah, I know exactly where that's
Yeah, like around that area. Yeah. I grew up in South Central LA. So I
South
kind of grew
Central.
up like west of here.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, that's kind of where I got started with art and everything.
Yeah, I was going to say, how's art in South Central?
I think it's, it's very different. I mean, I grew up, there's not like extreme exposure to like very like fine art or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I was mostly exposed to like graffiti and cartoons, so animation and like comic books and things like that. And then your occasional panaderia art, like they always
signage
give you,
or
like all the like handmade signs and like just business names, or even like the signage is on like the plumbers like vans and things like that. Yeah.
I mean, I've noticed now there's actually like, it's like there's like people that collect all of that now. Like it's because it's becoming like obsolete.
Mm-hmm.
And like everything is now digital, and you can get everything printed, and handmade stuff is a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's great to still see some of those signs around.
I know it's a whole other art form of its own, because not everyone can just do it. Like, like I'm really good at sketching and drawing and things that are very fluid, but my handwriting is horrible. Like I look like I don't know. It looks like I stopped learning how to properly form letters in like third grade or something.
No, I mean it's just everybody has like in your like this one is this one.
So yeah,
pen and ink?
Yeah, this is all. These are like like ink, pen, and marker.
Okay, let's show this
Okay.
one.
So what do you want me to put it?
I think I just shown.
Like this?
Hey,
All right,
there you go.
Yeah. So that's like one of the earlier, because I'm constantly transitioning, just exploring the like shapes, right?
Of course.
So this was like earlier in the year. My dad had been hospitalized.
Okay.
So we were in the hospital for like a few weeks.
Yeah.
And I spent a lot of time just kind of watching him because he's asleep. So I would just kind of make shapes. And so I started dissecting that whole idea of like identity. So identity, like what we present, and then who we are, right? Like who we are on the inside, the part of us that we aren't even conscious of who we are, Like almost everyone else can see that part, but we're like, I present myself this way, And so then I wanted to represent that with all the fluid shapes of like, there's this outer crust of, who one is.
Like a mask,
Yeah,
sort of.
and it always evolves, so it can't be like it can't be a solid figure. So I was exploring all these shapes while, I was dealing with my dad's illness.
Of course.
Yeah.
Art helps in that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then
Yeah,
you want us to flip
so-
over?
Yeah.
I didn't want to just kind of go through your stuff.
So I think that
Which one you want to
Okay.
share with us?
Yeah, this one would be good. So this is also that exploration. So there's this like for me, my biggest goal is to give like a platform to artists that I identify with. As a person of color, as a queer person, as a Central American, as a female, and what that represents and what that means in within like the art scene in LA or just globally, So this is that piece, just kind of like exploring that idea of your outer shell. It's like it's looked at a certain way, but there's so much more depth and so many other stories that go beyond that, beyond like social norms of like who you're supposed to be or who you were brought up to be.
Yeah, when you're, I guess, Hispanic, the
Yeah.
whole, there's a lot of taboo. There's a lot of just like, because I don't know, where are your parents from?
My parents are from Guatemala.
Okay, so it's like a different environment, and
Yeah.
they're brought up in a different environment.
Yeah.
So when you try to go like something like when they see change, it's kind of hard like on
Yeah.
them to accept. Just that I do it all the time. I'll ask my mom about religion and why we do
Yeah.
certain things, and then she'll just tell me, don't ask those things.
Right.
And that's just unfortunately how they're brought up. It's not on them. It's just how it's over there.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that's such a like, it's so like that understanding, right? So the understanding of what it means to come from our family, right?
Yeah.
So our families, like typically, will be Catholic and have certain ideologies, right? And so these ideologies, whenever they're questioned, then the person has to question that ideology. Like, why do I believe in that? And that's something that can be very uncomfortable because it kind of challenges what is stable for our families.
Yeah.
So I think that for me, it's always, now that I'm older, I think that I choose to respect that a little more, in the sense of like understanding how that created a shield to survive for like my family and my parents. And maybe I personally don't identify with these ideologies, but I understand the necessity of them.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Within the struggles they were dealing with, trying to, one, migrating to a country that they didn't know, not knowing the language and or the food or people, and so to me that's I have to approach it with a certain amount of respect.
Yeah, of course. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just like, respect, give respect, and then you get
Yeah.
respect. That's just how it works.
Right.
Um,
But with that said, it's also very inspiring to be myself above that,
Yeah.
Like, okay, so yes, you have these ideologies and you understand the world that way, and I understand you in that world. But now I've tried something different, and so my world got bigger. So I'm not like this tiny little, like space anymore. Now there's this whole like universe.
Yeah, you're unafraid. You just keep.
Yeah.
Now, right now, you said, like, your work reflects your world. And
Yeah.
And yeah, like, it's good to put it out there because somebody else is in that situation that hasn't grown out, that hasn't
Sure.
opened up their universe. Your
Yeah.
work may be inspiring. You never know, especially.
I hope so.
I mean, have you ever do you do exhibits? Do you exhibit your work?
So, when I first got started, I had a different artist name that was very long and everything. And I would show like at Cannibal Flower and at, like the Black Market, like those
Yeah.
galleries. And then once I started transitioning to like a different like feeling and like
Of course.
I moved my art in a different direction. I started showing like at Gallery 1988, and I started doing a lot of the big group shows like the Pancakes and Booze.
Okay, yeah. I've been to one of those before.
Yeah. So I've done stuff like that, but now recently, I found like a rewarding experience participating in more events that are like community based, where people are vending like natural medicine or their jewelry.
Did you ever come to the one we used to do? We used to do one out here. Did you ever
I
hear about it?
Yeah, he was just telling me about it. Yeah,
it was crazy.
I never got to come, but
we got so big,
Yeah.
they call the cops on us.
oh, that's so
Yeah,
rude.
yeah. But it happens.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you go to those because
Yeah.
you get to meet a lot of artists and you get to meet a lot of different perspectives.
Absolutely.
Our events that couple of them, they were like some artists, some they were from the like queer community.
Yeah.
A lot of them were from they had they were straight up from like Mexico or Guatemala, and they only
Yeah.
spoke Spanish.
That's
And
perfect.
because I had people helping me organize it, that we were able to bring out a little bit of everybody out here, and it's great until that happened.
Right. So you got snitched on.
Pretty much. But I mean, I'm glad like that you're going out, like the Pancakes and Booze. That brings a
Yeah.
lot of people.
Yeah, but what I don't. That's just okay. That's a really cool spot to show at. But I don't think. I think that because I would rather show at a maybe smaller venue,
Yeah.
as long as it is more connected to my community and people who could get something from my
Yeah.
artwork. Whereas Pancakes and Booze, it feels a little more like hipster
Okay.
and like
But
about
yeah.
making profit,
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you ever go like on my art page or anything like that, you'll notice that I'm not really pushing to sell or
Yeah, of course.
mass produce anything.
Yeah.
Because it's not. I think when I was younger, like when I was in my 20s, in my early 20s,
Yeah.
I wanted to do that because I had that ideology of like, maybe I can survive off of my own art, right?
Yeah, of course.
But then that wasn't really now. That's
not what you wanted to do.
Yeah. Survival looks different now. So it's not about that financial survival. It's more about that like almost like a spiritual growth and that harnessing of understanding that my tool is art, my platform, my voice, and so I'm not successful because I gross a certain amount of money over it. It's my success is when I feel enlightened by the spaces that I am invited to or I'm able to participate in.
Yeah, I mean, we do a lot of that too. Like, you ever been to a Livio open mic?
No.
You should check our Instagram. We have
Yeah.
a Livio open mic, Southeast LA, hip hop show, Northeast LA. We
Yeah.
kind of stick around to like the east side, north
Right.
and south,
Yeah.
just because we feel like communities like these, they have to be represented.
Yeah.
And that's part of why the show started.
Yeah.
And it used to be just me making paintings and stuff with spray can. But then I thought about it. I'm like, wait, like I could be using this for something. I can share this with the community. I can share this with everybody that doesn't have access to Hollywood, that doesn't have access to down there.
Yeah, it's a great platform, especially if you see, like, you were able to like observe a need in your community, and so you provided a service.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of just happened. Like,
Yeah.
I started getting to know a lot of these artists because of the show. I would go to like one event and some artists be like, "Yo, you're the guy from the show," and I'd be like, "Yeah, you want to come on? You want to come and talk about what it is you do?"
Yeah.
Because that's the main thing. I want to put more artists of color out there.
Yeah.
And have them talk about their experience as an artist.
Yeah, and that's what and that's the profit. That's where the you get the abundance.
Yeah. I mean, we're still like independent. Everything we do is paid from our pocket.
Yeah.
I mean, we try to. We recently printed these, but we got the wrong size. So like.
They're very little.
Yeah, and it's just to like pay for like small things now, just because, a lot of people know the coffee shop's kind of not doing so well.
Okay.
So. It involves us like 3 producers so far.
Yeah.
So that's why we're trying to we've been doing it for like almost 3 years now without like any profit, whatever. Like you say, without the whole point being buy this, buy this, buy this.
Yeah. Because then it's like, I think that it's a dangerous line where then you step away from what you love to do by creating. Or storytelling, and then you're just focused on what sells, and so a lot of things like that drew me away from certain like events where it was like, well, why don't you do sugar skulls, and I'm like, well, I
don't do that.
Yeah, it's not culturally relevant for me, and it just didn't. I don't do that exactly,
Yeah.
And so
they'll be like, why don't you paint some chuchitos?
Yeah, no. I paint chuchitos sometimes.
I actually had a series I was doing with this expressionist style. And in the photo, it was my mom when she was like in her 20s carrying me at Esquipula.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because over there we're indigenous. So I don't know if you know about Esquipula. A lot of the indigenous communities like travel there for like some festival. I'm sorry, I don't know what they go do, but that's how I kind of like know about Esquipula and all of that.
Esquipulas, yeah. There's a big saint there.
Okay, yeah. You see, I just know that they go there, and that photo existed. Yeah, and
but there's a whole story there.
Really?
Like for you.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just a photo, and maybe somebody passes it by.
Yeah.
But there's so much more to it, and then it starts a conversation. Then you can have a conversation with your parent and say, like, why did you need to do that, and what does that mean?
They'll be like, stop questioning me.
Or
it's all good. It's all good. I mean, I get along with them very well, so
okay,
it's all
good.
And what about my next question is like, where you see your art in like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, like?
So my art is very inspired by other artists, if that makes sense. And it's usually like I see myself evolving in that sense of like giving identity to people in my own community and making them present through my artwork. So like I think I have this other piece I'll show you.
Do you mean like, are you gonna start using more colors that are related to?
Yeah, so I'm definitely
So
not gonna use colors.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of these are like, there's some color, like some really
but
light blues.
I like doing like minimalism. So
of course.
I use like, if I have color, it stands out so much because there isn't other colors,
Yeah.
So this is an artist in our community, and B. Steadwell, and they're this amazing artist from DC.
Okay.
They're queer and they're doing like really great things. They're into filmmaking and
Awesome.
other art forms. And so I got the opportunity to
Did you meet them?
I met them like through the internet.
Okay.
And so now we might be working together to do artwork for them for like,
great.
digital purposes. So my goal would be to have like to be able to work with more people in my own community who are also doing art, whatever that is, whether it's music or performance or, theater or film or anything like that. And so, and personally, I think I'm going in a different direction too because I want to get more into filmmaking.
Oh,
Yeah.
great!
So
Awesome.
we're starting that this year with like with my like work partner.
Yeah.
And we're like in the works of like creating. Well, it would be my first time doing a short film, so I wrote.
Awesome.
Yeah, a short film, and so we're gonna film it this year. That's like our goal for this year. Yeah.
To film it.
To film it this year, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you guys gonna screen it somewhere afterwards, or is more
Yeah,
like a
definitely.
private?
No. I think because of the context of the story, we definitely want to put it out there. We want to put it in festivals and just have it exposed as much as possible because of the nature of the story and all the people that we are going to collaborate with to make it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so you said you're inspired by other artists, right?
Yeah.
And that's so they're one of them, right?
Yeah, B. Steadwell.
Yeah. So what? Which other artists like they inspire you? Which other?
Like just all over, like so there's a lot of like one of my favorite street artists who I think probably isn't a street artist anymore.
Yeah.
Is Swoon. And Swoon, yeah, she does these. She's from Brooklyn.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. So she does these like these amazing pieces that she did this whole like collection, and it was all about Hurricane Katrina. And so they took like all of the waste and things that
like debris and stuff.
Yeah, that were all over the all over that area, and created a boat, and they were able to sail it.
Sailed it. Wow.
Yeah, they sailed it, and so then from that they created an exhibit at the Brooklyn Museum, and
it's like from all that chaos came beauty.
Absolutely, yeah. But that's like, I think that's what's beautiful about artists who have a purpose, that they have this like this instinctive ability to rise from ash, So it's very like I've been everything has been taken, and so now I will make lemonade with lemons.
Yeah, like the phoenix.
Yeah, exactly. Very much like there's this essence of what is it, resurrection, when it comes to communities of color and artists with a purpose. No matter what, there's always this this ability to create such beautiful stories, and it goes back to like you seeing that picture of your mom and yourself.
Oh yeah.
It's just there's so much. She did this one piece that I love. It's like I think it's like her mom. And her mom, I think, passed away from cancer. So you see her mom with her as a kid, and the piece just kind of goes in. It's one piece, but it just kind of tells this story until the last picture or art piece is her mom, almost like skin and bone. But
wow, that's deep. Yeah,
right?
That's like the message there.
And it's tragic and beautiful and moving all at the same time. Yeah.
And that's I mean, most like like you're saying making the art and then making it relatable to your community.
Yeah.
It's important. It's important just for the same reason that when I used to go to galleries when I was young, I'll be like, oh, who did that? And then I'm like, oh, all right, well, I hope someday some Latino does that, or somebody that from Oaxaca paints like that, and then their work could be exhibited. So I always like, wish there was more of it out there. And it's great that like you said, you're putting out there for the community.
Yeah.
So like you can inspire others.
Yeah. I mean, it's for me, like it was like when you were saying, like trying to see like people within our community like be in the same level of being shown in like a major gallery. I think like with Retina and I can't remember the person he always paints with, but getting to see his artwork exhibited was a big thing,
Yeah.
It was just like, it's graffiti culture, but it's like fine art and it's storytelling. And so it is one of those things where it's just like, see, we have so much more to contribute.
Yeah.
Like there's so much depth to our struggle that it's gonna blow you away once we get the opportunity to flourish.
Of course. I mean, and it's just great. It's just great to know that we're able to bring like on our platform all types of artists with different views.
Yeah.
And they all have opinions. They all have their perception.
Yeah.
And we do get like artists from the queer community.
Mm-hmm.
You ever heard of Jesua Bones?
No, I don't. Maybe I've seen their artwork, but I'm not familiar with the name.
Yeah, you should check out her page. It's Jesua Bones Art, I believe.
Okay.
And yeah, it's also a lot of pen, ink, sketches. I believe some like charcoal work.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She just had a show, I believe, with the Fragile Collective over here in Descontrol. I don't know. Do you know Descontrol?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's still up.
Okay.
But you should definitely check it out.
Okay.
She stops by every now and then, like says hi to us on the show or at the events. So.
Yeah. Do you guys go out to events to like?
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the time.
Do you guys document or just to?
Yeah. Well,
support?
we post a lot of it online, like Facebook, Instagram.
Okay.
I used to have a camera where I was able to like interview people on the spot or just say hi to them, but I lost my camera, so. But we try to, like I said, we try to use our platform for the most. We try to push, our gente, our community, anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
If we have a cell phone, we'll use it.
Yeah.
For everybody.
Yeah.
Do you have any events coming up or?
Let me think. No, I don't think I have any events at the moment. It's been kind of challenging. There's a lot of difficult things happening within like family wise, like health wise.
Yeah.
So I haven't had time to like focus on how to get to do more events or whatever. And then I've put a lot of energy into making sure that everything's on schedule so we can start the short film, like start producing and filming that.
Is that going to be shot here in LA or?
No, so it will probably, I think we're going to try to do it in California, but it needs to be in the desert.
Oh.
Yeah. And I'm a big fan of like genre, like horror and sci-fi.
Sweet. Is that how it's gonna be?
Yeah, so it's gonna be kind of a revenge film, horror. Yeah.
What's your favorite horror movie?
Oh my. Okay.
Top one or top two?
So what are okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I grew up with sci-fi and horror because that's my dad's jam. So I have different different kinds of, so there's like gore and then there's like good storytelling and then there's just like creepy like religious culty stuff or whatever, and then there's science fiction like abduction and stuff like that. So
you have all categories.
There's so many ways to go, so that's tough to pick one.
You can throw a couple of
I can give you three. So I really liked The Orphanage.
I haven't seen that one.
It's a Spanish film.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's this woman. She goes back. She moves back. She was an orphan, and the orphanage she grew up in is for sale, right? So she moves back there with her husband and her adopted child. And her goal is to take more kids in the way that she was taken in and run an orphanage, right?
Do something good.
Yeah, she wants to do something good. Her kid's sick. He has AIDS. So he has to have a certain amount of medication to be good, right?
Yeah.
And they got the most adorable little boy, to play her adopted child. But something happens, and then chaos ensues.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
And there's I think for me, one of the scariest things that you can bring to like a ghost story is like children. So like
Children.
like dead babies,
Oh.
not babies, but
Yeah,
children.
Yeah.
To me, it's creepy that that'll do it. I'm like, what? Where you at?
Yeah,
Where you
yeah.
at? So that would be one, and then I really like more romantic horror film that I really liked. It's called El Espinazo del Diablo.
El Espinazo del Diablo.
That's a Guillermo del Toro film, and I think
Oh,
it's
yeah,
one
he
of
does them good, the movies.
Yeah. I think maybe Orphanage is also his,
Really?
but I'm not sure. He might have just produced. That one I really liked. It kind of romanticizes a bomb, but I thought there's also spooky dead child, but it was awesome. It was almost like the story's, beautiful. And then recently, so I like to go to the Viva Mexico Film Festival.
Where is that at?
It's usually in downtown.
Downtown?
Yeah, it's usually in downtown, and they play a lot of different films.
Is it indie? Like indie films?
There's a lot of indie films. There's a lot of big production, studio films also. It's a Mexican film festival in LA.
Yeah.
And so they've gotten a little bit bigger over the years.
Years and years.
Yeah. But they have this special section of their festival called Nocturno. And so at in that section, they have these like really interesting genre films. And the last one I saw, it's called 1972. Oh man, I hope that's what it's called.
Somewhere along those lines.
Yeah, 1970, and it's called I think in Mexico, because of the distributors, it sounded like, made them change the name of the film so that people would go see it.
Yeah.
So they called it La Posesión de Altair or something like that. The main character's name is Altair.
Altair.
Yeah. And so I think that's probably right now currently my favorite sci-fi horror film. I don't know if we'll ever get to see it in LA. I'm always hoping it'll be on Netflix or something.
Yeah.
But it's very I still haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to find all those films. Cause me, I'm more like just the mainstream stuff. Like the closest thing I watched was that Silent movie that just came out. Silent.
Oh, yeah.
Like that. Yeah, that one was kind of creepy. Creeped me out. But then I watched the whole thing. I was like, oh, I've seen something like this before.
Okay.
This has been done before.
A Quiet Place?
It's like Silent Place. Yeah.
The Quiet Place?
Where like the whole movie is silent.
Right. Is there these alien creatures who are attacking the family?
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. At first it was really interesting and scary,
Yeah.
but then I was like, wait, I've seen something.
Yeah.
Not to badmouth it, but it's just my opinion,
What I appreciated about that film was that the use of sound design and that it was short. It was an hour 30.
Yeah.
So movies aren't an hour 30 anymore.
Yeah, they're like 2 hours and then
yeah, plus.
like every 15 minutes you're like, oh, it's over. Wait, no, it's not over.
Yeah, they'll have several endings.
Hopefully, like I said, I can find those movies that you talked about.
Yeah, those are great films.
La Posesión de Altair
or 1974, 72. I think it's 74, and it's shot like that whole what is it called? Found footage.
Oh.
Yeah, because
like
it's
the
dark.
Blair Witch kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yes, but it's all like grainy.
Yeah.
Because the guy shot it on film, on purpose.
Yeah, of course. The whole.
Yeah, and so, but it's such a. There's so many good genre within the horror spectrum films that I think people dismiss. They're just like, oh, it's gonna be like creepy but there's so much depth to the storytelling that there's so much that you're able to tell because of it.
Did you ever read those magazines, Fangoria?
When I was a kid, yeah.
Yeah. I like those magazines because they show like the effects and stuff.
Oh, no, visual effects are pretty
Yeah.
sweet.
But yeah. Do you have any other piece you want to share with us before we run out of time?
Sure. So I'll show you. So this one is just kind of like, there was this whole like this whole like thing about the importance of maintaining coral reef and the acidity in water. So it was just kind of my little like
beautiful
tribute. Thank you.
I like the shading on the fish.
Thank you. But yeah, it was just kind of that whole idea again of just everything being fluid and but then also trying to tell like a story of an ecosystem. And then I can show you stuff that's in here. So, okay, yeah, I'll show you. So I like drawing hybrids. Again, you know, coming from like queer community.
Of course.
So just that idea of love looking however it needs to look.
Yeah.
And when it comes to, when it's like in society, it's so like dangerous to be who you want to be. But when it comes to artwork, we don't second guess it because it's like, they're cute, you know?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to, it's just kind of my expression on that.
What about the bee and the seahorse? Does the seahorse hold like a symbolism?
Yeah, so
it's in here and it's
yeah,
in this
absolutely.
One.
So the seahorse, the male carries the child.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So there's this, so bees are pollinators, and seahorse can be male, but yet hold a child. So it's that fluidity of like identity, being maternal isn't excluded to female-bodied folks. Like you can be maternal and you can identify however you need to.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's perfect. Yeah, that's right about the seahorse.
Yeah. So there's that, and there's just kind of like, I just like, you know, hybrids and just kind of like that, just putting things that don't belong together because, you know, they in nature they don't, but what that represents to someone like myself, you know.
Of course.
And then I'm into like zodiac stuff. So that's Aries.
Oh yeah, I saw this one. I was actually gonna be like, "Are you Aquarius?"
Yeah, no, I'm a Libra actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and this is Cancer.
Yeah.
That's Libra, because we don't have an animal.
Balance.
Yeah, and this is I think Capricorn. So
You have a Taurus?
What?
A Taurus?
Capricorn.
No, do you have a Taurus?
Do I have a Taurus? No, I don't. So I did all of the, I think the cardinal signs or something like that. There was a reason why.
Yeah,
I only did these 4, but
that's cool.
Yeah, so I have a lot. This is just stuff that I found on the internet or something. This I like. Just this was just there was no purpose to it. I was just sketching.
Yeah.
Just waiting around or whatever, and yeah, more little love stuff. And I did Inktober, so it's just a bunch of like. Yeah, so I just did like a sketch a day. And then some are really good and some are just like trying too hard.
I tried doing that, but I couldn't keep up. I was like,
Well, I was able to keep up with Inktober. It was just like there were so many prompts that I just combined all of them all at once. And it was just like everyone would always be like, "What is this one about?" And I'm like, this is a clown, bat, alien. You know? So, yeah, the monsters. This is like
doggies.
Yeah, it's like two three-headed dogs, and yeah, so there's so many like different like this makes that you can't even see what that is. This guy's supposed to look like he swallowed an apple, but my mom's like, he's a fat cat or something. I was like,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
First I thought it was
Yeah, I'm like, no, see, he's an apple. This is just a tattoo I'm working on.
Yeah.
That was for. Yeah, I don't even remember what the prompt was for, but this is a frog, and it's it was for my it was on my birthday, and I turned 34, so.
Sweet.
Man. But yeah, and so anyway, I got all the way through to.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's pretty cool. I like because I was like, I couldn't think of what to do, and then it was like
Banana Man.
Yeah, he's actually McKnight from like McDonald's, they had this guy who was a moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's just kind
Yeah, I
of.
think I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, it's way back.
Yeah.
Early 90s. So Headless Horseman and Little Devil. Yeah, and so I did that Inktober stuff. Oh, this guy, that's my cat.
Gato.
This is my friend that I vended with. She's not queer, but she's an awesome person she has an art show coming up, I think tomorrow. She's awesome.
Sweet.
Isa. And I got tagged to do like a bunch of hearts in February, but that I couldn't keep up with. I couldn't keep up with at all. So this is as many as I did.
Yeah, I'm watching it through there. That's dope.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Some
That's
fish.
like a cool tat.
Yeah. And then I don't know what I was doing. Yeah, so I think that's where. Yeah.
Well, we are glad that you're sharing this with us.
Yeah, no, thank you.
The audience, the
There we
online
go.
audience.
Oh. And then this one, because I love hippos.
That's tight.
This is when this was my first time using watercolors.
Oh, watercolor? Oh,
This
nice.
is the first time. Like, I had never used watercolors before. I'd used acrylic. I'd used ink.
Yeah.
Watercolors is a whole other beast.
Yeah, I tried it. I was like, oh.
It's challenging. But I did that
seen
guy.
that earlier. That's tight.
Yeah. So I like that guy. He's very sophisticated, and he has a monocle. But yeah.
Little top hat. Yeah.
Yeah, these are watercolors. Yeah, this is like the first time I did watercolors. Yeah. Where I used to live in Echo Park, there was a stray cat I would feed, and he was friends with the possum.
Only in the city.
Yeah.
Friends with a possum.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good movie.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, so that's some stuff.
Cool. Well, unfortunately, our time is up.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you again
Yeah,
for
no-
stopping by and sharing your awesome book and art with us.
Absolutely.
And hopefully, we come bring you on another episode. Share, just kind of catch up with your more
Yeah.
like recent work in the future. So
Yeah. Maybe we'll have the film done, and then we can. promote.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. See, we're open to that.
Yeah.
You know, just soon as it's done, just send us a message. We'll be around for years to come, and just hit us up.
Yeah. Absolutely. Sounds great.
Cool. Thank you again.
Yeah.
Thank
Great
you very
meeting
much.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll be back, guys, in a few minutes, and stay tuned. The Eskwilax Hour 158. That was awesome. 158. You know, Marco finally got to experience it. Oh, he's right here. Hold up. We're gonna say bye to the audience. We're gonna say bye to the audience. You did a good job, man. That was dope. I told you it's easy. You just like have a natural conversation.
Thank you so much, man. I've
And,
gotten a lot of feedback already.
For
Thank you to all the viewers.
they said Mark is a new permanent host, so
Nah, I
so
don't think I could do it. I was really nervous, but
No, you should. You later on watch the recap or like the tú ya sabes.
the rerun.
Rerun. That's the right
Yeah,
word. It's pretty simple. I mean, you just talk to your guests, especially like I was telling our other guests that, whenever it comes to like some like comics and stuff like that, I pretty much I'm not familiar with it as much, but it's like a field you're expert in.
My expertise.
Yeah, and when it comes to art, I can talk about that.
Yeah.
And then Kevin over there does photography.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think?
Don't forget about Hoken. Hoken too.
Hoken has been on vacation for 2 weeks now, so
Oh man.
hopefully when he's back, he still has his job. So yeah, this has been.
Shout outs to Hoken. Hope he's having a great time.
He's over there in Cancun.
Cancun. Dang.
Yeah, I know he's over there with the ladies.
Dang.
But thank you guys for watching the Eskwilax Hour 158.
Episode 158.
Marco
Uh,
and the Eskwilax.
thank you guys for watching, and let's see what happens
Next week.
next week.
Oh no,
for
maybe we're not shooting next week, but definitely stay tuned. Follow us on Instagram and find us at the events. We're gonna be visiting a lot of you at the events.
Yeah, at the events, and let's see who comes on the show in the future. All right, thank you guys for watching. Bye now.
158.
Episode 158. Bye bye. Bye
Hasta
now.
la vista.
Bye bye.
baby.
Bye now. Bye bye.